a good news. So let's kickstart the session as I cross fingers that you're going to be with me all the way up until 9 a.m. We have so much in store for you, ranging from candid discussions that revolve around the stories that are making headlines, and importantly, we delve deep into understanding the life and the lying of family planning. Most of the ladies will resonate to this, and actually men too, because yes, there is family planning for men, but most of them do not want to take that direction. So it's always the lady that is left to carry the burden. Is it fair? Is it unfair? Is it healthy for them? Is it unhealthy? If it's healthy, what do they do? Those are the things that we'll be touching on later on, and that is at around 8 all the way to 9 a.m. But first things first, we go through the newspapers of the day, we go through the stories of the day, and we have that current affairs segment at 7 a.m. So welcome on board once again, and let's kick the ball rolling as the stalemate at KEMSA continues to take twists. The Health CS Mutahi Kagwe, appearing before the National Assembly held a committee, said that he has never stepped at KEMSA premises physically. Health PS Susan Mochache, who was also grilled by the Health Committee, said that there is no actual loss of public funds at KEMSA. Joash Onsari reports.
Health CS Mutahi Kagwe and the Principal Secretary Susan Mochache were pressed hard to shed light on the KEMSA scandal. Kagwe defending himself against claims that he manipulated COVID-19 tender awards at the Kenya Medical Supplies Authority KEMSA through calls, text messages or emails to top officials.
Can I state for the record that I am actually feeling bad to say this because it is something that I should not say, but I have just been so caught up with the management of COVID-19 that I have not personally ever been to KEMSA. Forget about working with a general or brigadier or even my PS. I hear it is my PS and I who wants to work constantly. Mheshimiwa, read my lips through this through this mask. I have never been to KEMSA.
The suspended CEO, Jonah Manjari, in his submission on KEMSA looting last week, said CS Kagwe and PS Susan Mochache influenced the decision-making in the procurement process, a statement Kagwe dismissed, saying he has never stepped physically in KEMSA. Kagwe has dared Manjari or any official who had received such instructions to show proof.
The only thing to say is that usually when you are managing an institution, there are a number of issues that can be challenging. A, if, for example, if you go over budget of an item. B, just inefficiency. The issue of efficiency is also part of management rating. It is not just a question of being corrupt or not being corrupt. There is also the question of general efficiency in management, and that counts for a lot. As well. So,
Health Principal Secretary Susan Mochache has accused KEMSA of bypassed the Ministry of Health in the procurement and the expenditure involved on the PPEs. Mochache, however, says all procurement for the commodities was done by KEMSA as opposed to what has been reported.
You can see now here KEMSA is coming to the reality of overcommitting, and now they have committed up to 5 billion. And Chair, I want to also be very categorical to say that the ministry was not aware of, that such a commitment had been made. And perhaps that's why the letter had gone directly to the National Treasury and not through the ministry. So, Chair, you can see there the next letter is a letter that actually had originated from KEMSA to the CS of the National Treasury, seeking for finances to be able to meet this cost that they had incurred of 5.14 billion.
Meanwhile, Transport CS Chris Obure, who was representing CS James Masharia, was dismissed due to lack of a detailed report. The Ministry of Transport will submit its report on the clearance of Jack Ma's shipment from JKIA on Thursday. Joash Onsare, TV 47.
Now, thousands of private school teachers are scrambling for at least 5,000 opportunities recently advertised by the Teachers Service Commission, TSC, and Rinkilemi interacted with some of these teachers who are hopeful that the applications will see the light of day.
At Gentrix Omondi's home, a teacher in one of the private schools in Nairobi, we find her trying to submit her application on the Teachers Service Commission portal, which had recently posted at least 5,000 vacancies for teachers in both primary and secondary schools.
I'm really happy that TSC has advertised, and unlike the other years, they are doing replacements and new recruitment at the same time. So I'm really glad, and I'm hoping that it will go through this time around, because I left school in 2014, college 2014. Since then, I have tried in vain, and this is the third time I'm trying. So since yesterday night, I've been trying to apply, but it hasn't gone through. Probably because there is a lot of traffic on the portal.
Just like Gentrix Omondi and many other teachers in the country, Jennifer Nzao has also submitted her application for the job on the TSC portal. This being the fourth time she is submitting her applications.
The farthest that I've gone is just the verification of documents, and they just go through your documents, and then they have like I don't know if I should call it a marking scheme, whereby they give you points according to your age, then the year that you graduated from college, and the points that you scored in college.
In the selection process, the selection panel shall harmonize the list of applicants with that of the TSC sub-county director and conduct interviews for those who meet the criteria. The county director should note any inconsistencies, make decisions based on the guidelines, and advise the applicants and the commission accordingly. Applicants shall present themselves in person to the selection panel, and the panel shall score each applicant based on the selection score guide. But according to these teachers, the criteria used in the selection process for qualified TSC members is not effective.
I think TSC should, as a commission, should change its way of doing things. Truth is, there is a biting shortage in schools. There are lots of teachers out here. As a teacher, I feel aggrieved by the fact that 6 years later, I have tried to apply many times, and I'm sure there are some of my colleagues that are going through the same thing. So talking about a situation whereby we have this pandemic, most of us have had problems. We've not been able to pay bills.
I don't know the criteria that they use, but I don't think it's fair. Because if it were fair, I think people from years like 2011, 2010 wouldn't be struggling in private schools right now.
NAT Secretary General Wilson Sosion, however, says that Teachers Service Commission has failed in playing its role fully since the teachers' shortage in the country continues to affect learning in the country.
Upungufu ya walimu ni 1,100 katika shule zote za umma katika Jamhuri ya Kenya. Na ile imekuwa ikifanyika ni kuajiri kila mwaka 5,000 ama 10,000. Ikilinganishwa na upungufu, hilo haliwezi kusuluhisha kamwe. Na upungufu ya walimu ni hatari sana katika jamhuri. Na kwa hivyo hiyo program imekuwa ikiendelea katika tume ni kinyume cha sheria na matakwa ya wananchi wa Kenya.
Sosion has further criticized TSC, saying the commission has failed to use its mandate to serve its people.
Tume ya kuajiri walimu iwajibike na ijue kwamba uhuru yake ni uwezo ya kuajiri walimu ya kutosha na kuwatuma kwa mashule. Lakini sio kutumia nguvu zake kugandamiza wale walimu tayari wameajiriwa ama kufurugana na chama cha walimu. Uhuru wa tume ni kuwa na uwezo ya kuajiri walimu wanaotakikana na kutumwa kwa mashule.
The quest by private school teachers to work under the Teachers Service Commission is evident, even as most of them struggle to make ends meet amidst the coronavirus pandemic. Andrin Kilemi for TV 47.
And meanwhile, President Uhuru Kenyatta has told the global community that Kenya will lead the Eastern Africa counter-terrorism efforts by working with regional governments and partners. The president has reiterated that Kenya will leverage on its membership in the U.S. Security Council to contribute more to global peace and security. President Kenyatta was speaking during virtual meeting at the Kaaba process on COVID-19 convened by King Abdullah II of Jordan.
It is therefore my hope that we will identify and propose workable solutions to fill the gaps in pandemic response capacities and exchange views on the emerging security threats and opportunities, as well as opportunities associated with the pandemic. The pandemic has impacted regional and global peace and security efforts due to the fact that attention is increasingly being devoted to domestic and national pandemic response efforts and diverted from peace and security spheres. The pandemic has also disrupted diplomatic efforts towards regional crisis management and conflict resolution endeavors, thereby creating the potential for escalating tensions and the reversal of the gains made over the years in peace building. The pandemic, coupled with the globalization of terrorism and violent extremism, has posed an even greater threat to international peace and security. Several countries continue to experience protracted armed conflict, including from activities by non-state armed groups, as well as a marked humanitarian crisis, often with a significant trans-border and global dimension, as well as facing the ever-present threats of terrorism.
Well, the United Nations Security Council, as opposed to the U.S. Security Council, apologies for that. Now, moving on, long-distance drivers at the Busia border are complaining of long queues during the COVID-19 testing. The drivers claim that the queues have been caused by their counterparts from Uganda flocking at the Kenyan side due to high charges in Uganda.
Congestion. Long overstretching queues of more than 60 kilometers in Busia is caused by what drivers say is high charges of testing COVID-19 by the Ugandan government, an issue that has made them take the tests in Alupe Hospital in Busia before proceeding to the neighboring country.
Jam for 5 to 6 days. Hakuna pale tunaenda. Uganda saizi nasikia wanasema kupima driver mmoja ni 6500. Jameni, 6500 utaipata wapi kama dereva? Ombi langu ni Waziri Machari akuja ongea na huyo minister wa transport upande wa Uganda. Waje wakae pamoja, kivisha pamoja, watafute solution. Bila hivyo jamani, sisi hapa tunaumia.
Mambo tu hii ya kupima tu ndio inaleta hii jam yote. Unakuta results zinachelewa kutoka. Kama sasa tumeambiwa Uganda kule kupima itakuwa ni pesa na lazima tuje tupime.
The drivers say the hiking of the prices by the Ugandan authority will force the drivers to wait for more than 2 days to get their results, saying the queue might overstretch in the neighboring Uasin Gishu County. They further pointed out that the long queues of trucks are posing great danger to the residents who mingle with the drivers as they seek services.
Ile mgugo yetu ya transport naona imenyamaza kimya na naona hizi masaibu.
The Lake Region Economic Bloc Advisory and Resource Mobilization Committee and County Government of Busia have expressed fears over Ugandan truck drivers flocking into Kenya to test for coronavirus COVID-19, following the 6,500 shillings charges introduced by the Ugandan government. They said the move will overstretch Busia County resources in fighting the COVID-19 pandemic, considering that the tests are conducted for free.
The charges introduced yesterday by the Uganda side, 6,500 Kenya shillings, has caused a surge in the Kenyan side. Everybody is running from Ugandan side because Kenyan side is testing for free. So the daily average numbers they always of samples they take, which is between 180 to 200, has already surged to a level which is overwhelming. And economically, this is affecting the region.
Busia Deputy Governor Moses Mulomi is appealing to the two governments to address the issue amicably.
Itakuwa challenge kwetu tukiwa hapa Busia. Kwa hivyo ni neno ambalo linatakiwa lishughulikiwe upesi kati ya Kenya na Uganda kiserikali na kidiplomasia kujua ni njia gani tunaweza kutatua, kwa sababu tukiwa wakaaji wa Busia na serikali ya kaunti ya Busia itakuwa ngumu sana kuwezesha sisi kustahimili hiyo kazi, kwa sababu itakuwa upande wetu itatolemea.
Dennis Otieno, TV47.
Now, on Migori Governor Okoth Obado's second term has been marred with court cases, from murder charges to embezzlement of county funds, and now facing an impeachment threat. But is Okoth Obado a grand schemer or just an unlucky man? When did the rain start beating Governor Okoth Obado? Mwangi Maina now reports.
Standing tall, slightly above 6 feet, with a beckoning bald head, a dull demeanor and rough-faced, meet Migori's inaugural governor, Zakaria Okoth Obado, a man embroiled in court cases and not new to controversy and chaos. The former teacher, businessman and farmer is a troubled man. He is steering a ship against a furious and raging tides. Obado is a man walking on a tightrope. He rose to fame in 2013 when he bagged the Migori gubernatorial seat on a ticket of a little-known party, the People's Democratic Party, beating ODM pants down in the party's stronghold. Since then, his has been a tainted reputation and a controversial profile. In 2017, Okoth Obado was accused of sponsoring rowdy youth who stormed Ochilo Oyako's campaign meeting, where violent confrontations occurred. The meeting, steered by Governor Ali Hassan Joho, aborted prematurely, and later, Obado was fined 2 million Kenya shillings by the ODM disciplinary committee. In 2018, Obado was in the limelight yet again, this time round, facing murder charges stemming from the horrendous and gruesome murder of her estranged lover, Rongo University student Sharon Otieno. Sharon, who was then 7 months pregnant, is said to have been raped, tortured and stabbed 8 times and her body dumped at Kodera Forest. Obado was arraigned, charged with a well-orchestrated murder, spent almost a month in remand and later released on bond. The case is still active in court. In 2018, he became a close ally of Deputy President William Ruto, and even at one time, he sought for endorsement from the people of Migori to be walking freely with the Deputy President. His woes became even more. This pitted him more against his party that he has been at loggerheads with. ODM has already initiated his ouster. Obado confessed that he was being thrown in a crocodile's mouth and asked for prayers after facing the murder charges. Not once, not twice, the stand-talking governor has clashed publicly with other leaders. Fast forward to 2020, Obado testified in court over alleged poisoning of South Kanyam Kagwe MCA, who alleged that he was poisoned after taking tea at a Migori hotel in the company of Governor Okoth Obado. Obado, his wife and 4 children have so far been charged with embezzlement of 73.4 million Kenya shillings from the county government of Migori. He has so far been barred from stepping foot in the county office. His career is in jeopardy as impeachment is on its way, with the Deputy Governor Nelson Mahanga already taking charge of the office. The Orange Party is championing the impeachment motion, but Obado says the grounds he is accused have not been looked into, and I quote, MCAs have a right to initiate an impeachment motion against a governor, but why would the party force the Migori MCAs to impeach me when most of the grounds for what I have been accused of have not been looked into? Migori's Okoth Obado is a governor wallowing in murky waters. The question being, is a 73.4 million scandal the last nail on Okoth Obado's coffin? Of dry bones, Mwangi Maina, TV47, Nairobi.
And in recent times, religious meetings have increasingly become the norm of Deputy President William Ruto's Karen and Sugoi residence, attracting clergies from various parts of the country. But the meetings continue to be put under sharp scrutiny over their genuineness following remarks made by the second-in-command on a raft of issues in the country. Plotting for 2022, maybe. Our reporter David Muthoka has the details.
It is among the latest worship sessions to be held at Deputy President William Ruto's current residence. And just like in this popular Christian Kikuyu song, Ngai wakwa we wa magegania, to mean a God of wonders, the DP has capitalized in worshipping from home intrigues. A move that has been seen as a 2022 campaign strategy, maybe in the footsteps of former President Daniel Moi, who was a faithful member of the African Inland Church AIC. And even as the tens of congregants sang along in awe at the DP's apparent eloquence in the Kikuyu dialect, this particular religious event is just but the icing on the cake to the many events that have either been held here at Karen or at Ruto's Sugoi home, despite the full disregard for COVID-19 containment measures here, among them the ban on social gathering as well as social distancing. Ruto has appeared to use the forums to drum up support ahead of the 2022 presidential elections.
The same way they did not succeed then, I want to tell you, they will not succeed now. Blackmail, threats, intimidation. They did not succeed in 2012 against Uhuru Kenyatta and myself. They will not succeed in 2022.
The pulpit has been Ruto's platform to fire a salvo at the ruling Jubilee government, which some of his allies says sidelined him.
Hatutaki ukoloni mamboleo. Ati watu wenye mamlaka fulani wanajaribu kushurutisha na kulazimisha kanisa ati mutafanya hii, hamutafanya ile.
Whether the DP is banking on the clergy, has he plots for 2022 through the numerous religious events at either Karen or Sugoi has raised enough eyebrows lately. In the month of August alone, Ruto held at least 9 religious meetings with clergymen and congregants from various denominations, a significant rise from July's 5. On August 5th, Ruto met members of the East Africa Pentecostal Church led by Bishop Geoffrey Muthinja, while a day later, he hosted religious leaders from Narok in Karen. On August 11th, the DP yet again hosted a delegation of Kajiado South constituents led by MP Kato Olemetito and Senator Mary Senator before hosting African Inland Church leaders from Lower Eastern 2 days later in Karen. On 18th August, Ruto met clergymen from Baringo at Karen, while a couple days later, the DP hosted Nairobi's faith leaders in Karen. On 23rd August, it was time to shift the pulpit to Sugoi before returning to Karen, where he met the clergy from the Federation of Evangelical and Indigenous Christian Churches of Kenya on 25th August. The final landing of the month was 4 days later in Mvita, where he met faith-based leaders from Vita and Nyali regions. The alarming series of the religious meetings continues to cause a stir, with the DP's remarks during the events revealing there is more than meets the eye. David Muthoka, TV47.
Children's Department or Children Department officers and the DCI in Machakos intercepted a middle-aged lady suspected for child trafficking deal. Confirming the incident, Machakos Sub-County Children Officer Emily Kimanzi revealed that there was a planned deal between the real mother of the newborn and the buyer.
Investigations revealed that the mother of the newborn had entered an agreement with the buyer of the baby, who was to pay 1,000 shillings immediately the baby was born.
Kulingana na yule ambaye alizaa the small baby wa 3 months, anasema ametoka Kitui area ya Matinyani, na yule mwingine mkubwa kidogo mama yake anasema ametoka area ya Kibwezi. So wote tumekuta na huyu mama ambaye anasema aliwapea 1,000 ndio wakampatia mtoto.
The mother of the newborn is said to have lied to her husband that she had aborted the pregnancy, while the buyer of the baby, who has also recorded medical problems resulting to her not getting a child, had also tricked her husband that she was pregnant.
Amekuwa na medical complications ndio hajaweza kupata, lakini for the last 9 months amekuwa akidanganya bwana yake ya kwamba ako expectant for 9 months, akaenda until sasa the 9th month akaenda na akarudi akaambia bwana yake amezaa, na bwana akaamini ya kwamba amezaa. Na yule aliuza bwana alikuwa amesema wa abort, na yeye akaenda akadanganya bwana ameabort.
For now, the baby is under the care of the children department, while the 2 ladies involved in the transaction have also been detained awaiting court charges. Another 5-year-old girl has also been rescued from the buyer awaiting investigations. Immaculate Tuma, TV 47.
The University of Eldoret has started research on herbal medicine in North Rift region as a way of promoting usage of safe herbal medicine to treat diseases in villages. Boniface Baraza toured West Pokot County and filed the following report.
For over 5 years, Richard Kiprop, a herbalist, has been attending to patients who suffer from cancer and diabetes at Ketio village in Kapenguria town, West Pokot County.
Niko na msichana hapa ambaye alikuwa ugonjwa wa matiti. Mwaka 2 iliyopita nilisunguka hospitali, nilikuja Kapenguria, nikaenda Eldoret, ikaonekana kwamba hii ni kansa. So nikarudisha nyumbani, nikakuja kwa huyu daktari. Hapa ndio nilipata uponyaji ya mtoto yangu.
Some of his daily clients want the government to cooperate with the herbalist by conducting a thorough research to promote access to safe health care in this region where majority of the people rely on homemade medical solutions.
Hii ni madawa ya makuka, na watu wetu walikuwa wanatumia hii dawa kutibia nyumbani, na hatutawachia nje serikali wakisema ya kwamba hii dawa yetu wacha tupeleke KEMRI ithibitishwe na iangaliwe kwamba inatibu hii ugonjwa ya saratani.
This is what informed the University of Eldoret to conduct a research on the said herbal medicine to ascertain its efficiency and usefulness in treatment.
We work with herbalists with a view of assisting them to do finer biochemical analysis to specifically identify and isolate and where possible purify the active ingredients that actually cures the disease. And then we as a university purify, and after testing and meets our criteria, which is if it will treat 9 people out of 10, which is 90%, then it satisfies our criteria, then we will move ahead to have it produced in large scale.
This research targets over 150 herbalists who want to develop diabetes and cancer medicine center in North Rift region. The county government of West Pokot has asked Kenya Medical Research Institute KEMRI to devolve medical research functions, especially to counties relying heavily on herbalists.
Weke manane kuchunga miti ya local trees, indigenous trees Kenya mzima. Tuongeze hata miti ya kisasa tupande. Sababu kutokana na hiyo research KEMRI na kwingine na the university laboratories kina biochemistry, microbiology na environmentalists, universities na research institutions watatumia hizo kuangalia. Mimi mwenyewe nimekuja kuangalia, hii sio kama ile ya msee ya Tanzania.
Boniface Barasa, TV47, West Pokot County.
7 West Pokot and West Pokot women have protested over the expulsion of 4 members of County Assembly who are alleged to be disloyal to the party. Grace Rengei, Nancy Chombir, Josephine Chiprum and Jackie Ripo are the 4 KANU MCAs who have been de-whipped by the oldest party in the country. The letter from KANU Secretary General Nick Salat cited refusal to remit monthly membership subscription fee, failure to adhere to party loyalty code, failure to defend and promote the party positions while serving at the West Pokot County Assembly, among other reasons.
Warnings, hakijafanya chochote bali imeweza tu kuambia muache kazi. Surely hiyo ni Kenya ya wapi tunaelekea? Gideon Moi, ninakuaddress leo. Tunajua wewe bado unajifunza siasa. Nenda polepole.
Wakati gavana Lonyangapu alitaka Catherine Mugenyang awe speaker, alituomba kwamba hata lija wanaume wengi walitaka hiyo nafasi. Lakini gavana Lonyangapu akasema kwa sababu yenu wa mama wa Pokot mulibaki nyuma, tupatie kura. Sisi wa mama 10 tuliunga mkono.
Kuipa rasilimali, kuipa pesa za Pokot. Kama vile wametoa signatories. Madam Speaker amekuwa na cartels yake na kubadilisha wale ambao wanaenda kutoa pesa pengine. Ndio, au pia inaonekana mkono yao wanataka kuiba hiyo pesa. Sisi kama Pokot tunasema pesa yetu haiwezi yibwa. Tunachua nyinyi vizuri kuwa pia KANU walitutesa enzi ya 1984.
All right, and on that very note, it's time now that we take a short break. We're coming back with a newspaper review, so don't you go anywhere. Welcome back to the broadcast. Let's now cross over to the newspaper segment as we take a look at the stories that have been captured. We have the People's Daily, Standard newspaper, and the Daily Nation. And joining me for the same is an analyst who's going to help me take you through this. Jared is the guy of the day, Jared Oundo, who's also the lead consultant, Jubiland Stewards of Africa. And yes, he'll be here with me this morning as we briefly take a look at the papers. Jared, good morning.
Good morning.
You're well? I'm good. Good to have you.
Thank you.
Yes, and like I said, we have the People's Daily, we have the Standard newspaper. Let's pick the first story on the Standard newspaper. Thorn in DP's flesh, tormentor-in-chief, Jubilee Chair David Murathe is sending unrelenting attacks that have put the country's number 2 in an almost permanent defensive posture as 2022 approaches. And lately, Ruto is hitting back super hard. A story that has been captured on page 8 of the Standard newspaper. I know you're privy to the events and, of course, the utterances, exchanges, and, firing of shots that have been playing out between these two gentlemen. What do you make of it, and what does it speak of course, the politics of the country on the Jubilee?
Okay, on my side, basically, this is really aligned. Everyone is trying to cut the cloth according to size, and everyone is trying to pull his own side. So basically, what's happening? It's not what I had Murathe said the other day is because of tenders. That's what made them. But basically, I think that this is because of 2022. Everyone wants to beat his own drum, and every party wants to outshine. When Murathe speaks, he speaks on his behalf. When Ruto and his men speak, they speak on his behalf. So, but from where it should not be issues about it, because the two clash because of our tender. The tender started somewhere in Kambani of a dam that they were supposed to construct, and I'm told, according to Murathe, what you say, William Ruto and his brigade overvalued the tender by 3 billion Kenyan shillings. So, they're fighting for. They are not issues affecting us. They are issues affecting themselves. They are selfish things. Issues affecting the people of Kenya. What to improve the people of Kenya, not who gets what, who uses what. We should, as a nation, I think we should work as a one accord. For us to realize the Kenyan dream, we need all our religious leaders, political leaders to work together. But if we continue these wars that are there, we might not get where we are going.
But just how much can we say, yes, that the politics of the day is probably some of, is amongst the things that probably do not bother the people of Kenya as much, because we know very well that these are leaders that enjoy so much clout or carry so much clout in terms of, the support that they enjoy in the country. Just looking at how much they have, people who are right behind them, and, people who are interested in matters politics. Just how much can we sit comfortable and say that, these are not issues that affect us?
Most people say so, that politics of the country doesn't affect me. But our daily life is affected by the politics of the country. If today, look at 208 for selection violence. Whatever happened was caused by politics. You might say that politics are not affecting me. Our children could not go to school that particular time. I remember I was in Form 1 in the year 2007 to I couldn't go to school because of the clashes at that particular time. Most of us, some of us who stay who are in other parts, and you sit down and say that things are wrong. We know what one much when they came for Democrats, I was silent. When they came for Republicans, I was silent because it was not concerning me. When they came for the Jews, I kept quiet because that was not concerning me. But when they came for the Negroes, again, I kept quiet because that wasn't me. When they came for me, there was no one left to speak for me. it's a high time that, whatever it is, these are issues affecting us. So if we are able to discuss them in a sober way, we are able to find solution. But if you sit down like an ostrich and hide your head in the sand and say, whatever these people are discussing doesn't concern me, then there are issues affecting us. And of course, we just basically burying our head in the sand, and it would not really help.
Okay.
Religious issues are affected by politics in this country. If we don't have peace, then there's no going to be peace. If there is no peace, there's no going to be peace. You remember the other years, like 2007, 2008, tax were banned. So if you are a businessman and you sat down and say, these politics issues, they are not concerning me, you made losses. Your people, some of your workers will not report to work. Get it? And even right now, what's currently happening, these are political issues. If then we say as business community, as a religious community, came together and said, let's work with the government, but they say, those corona issues, those are political issues, the government will take and leave that decision. And that's why our problem is big. Politicians, they only think about things, what they will eat, they don't think they basically don't think to their intellect, they think to their belly, they think to their intestine. What am I going to eat? They don't care about it all.
Okay, well, and yes, speaking of issues that would be of importance to the people of Kenya, there is a big story right here, or a big read on page 4 and 5 on matters KEMSA graft scandals or KEMSA graft allegations. And in hot seat, CS throws KEMSA under the bus. That is the CS for Matters Health. And as you can see right there, COVID funds probe Health CS Kagwe and PS Mutahi say that no money was lost, but fault KEMSA over purchase of COVID-19 equipment, captured on page 4 and 5, like I said earlier on. And you've been following up on this case, and we also, the grilling yesterday of the CS and the PS too. And, the Atran says, and, with so much confidence, they came out to indicate or to say that not so much or not money was lost, that all these monies that were there were channeled towards buying an equipment here or there. We still get these discrepancies from the reports that we are receiving from the agencies. What does it speak? Because then this is a matter of interest to the people of Kenya, knowing very well that so much has been channeled towards dealing with COVID-19, so much so from the donors and so much so from the taxpayers' pocket.
Yeah, so basically what happens, every now and then we have had such scandals. I think the very first scandal when I was growing up, the first one that I heard about was spoiled and bad. Then it was said, no money was lost. Everyone came defending every other thing. Then after that, we had an audition. Then after that, we had the cemetery scandal. After that, we have had many other. We have had recently we had Eurobond. We had NYS. And now we are having this particular scandal of COVID-19 billionaires. So basically what happens in this particular country, in any other country in Africa, is that people presume that everyone has eaten. No one will come and tell you that I have eaten. After they eat, they wipe their mouth. So in law, according to our constitution, when you are guilty till proven, you are not guilty till proven guilty, you are innocent till proven guilty. Pardon me. So basically, what happens? If you are checked that yes, I've eaten, what happens? You be rotting behind bars. So that's one thing we're trying to avoid. It's all about politics. A politician will always tell you see this is 6. And if they change it, they fix my way and show this is 6. And actually this is number 9. This is not number 6. The same way the rule is number 9. So basically, we know that money has been lost. How do you spend 4 million on just one man? We started from there. And even looking at this, but the money that we received from IMF, World Bank, and other donors, where did that money go? I haven't seen anything. We were told that we're buying sanitizers. I've never seen sanitizer. Where I stay, there's a slum nearby. There are 2 slums that surround us. So we have visited those particular places, checking if indeed they receive the donations from the government in terms of sanitizer and other hygiene packs. I'm told they received 0. And also the food that we had, is scams, I think Paluben was one of the first slums. You remember the other time your friend Kalisto Sofula, he said at conference with their team, saying that people didn't receive food as they expected. When I asked the area chief, and he confessed that the food was not for the poor people. The food was meant for health workers. So our question will be, the money that was supposed to support the poor people is going to people who can really support themselves. So basically, it challenge us to catch really that money that was meant for internal and specific is being diverted to things that are not supposed to be there. It's really fair. Even if you are donors, I've had some donors have pulled out, and it really depends who suffers. Normally say when two bulls are fighting, who suffers is a grass. So it's us 190 that are suffering. Yeah, and this particular time we have seen in the papers, millions of Kenyans have lost their jobs, both formal and informal. Those who have first initially employed in restaurants, teachers, in private schools, and elsewhere, even churches. So because mega churches are also downsizing, because they're no longer able to raise enough offering support their pastors. So it's a shame the little we are getting, instead of building our nation, instead of doing whatever is supposed to be done, we are channeling those in our own private investment. This is basically the highest degree of selfishness, the highest degree of greed. And I wonder those kind of people where they live, but I think the time will come when God will judge us.
Yes, and yes, like I said, right here on page 4 and page 5 of the Standard newspaper is a particular story that, got this lady and gentleman being hard pressed to explain or give us explanations more. But going back, there's a story that has been captured on the front page, but equally on page 2, state freezes assets of 9 Terra financiers. And yes, the state and the global fraternity has for a long time been grappling and trying to deal with the terrorist groups in across the world. And this move looked by many or seen by many as a way of actively and successfully dealing with the terrorists across the board. What do you make of this? Because then you know very well that, again, these terrorists have so much money, and even in the quest to radicalize more youths, it is money that is normally used. And looking at the way they, conduct their activities, a clear indication that in most cases so much money is channeled towards that. So is this a step towards the right direction, or what would be the implications of the same?
I totally support that move. When you are able to, when you interfere with a man's finance or even a citizen's finance, you interfere with their operations. So the fact that they have interfered with the financial flow of the terror group, basically that means that they are not able to operate as they used to operate. In terms of they are not able to finance their activities, and that is able to cripple them one way or the other if they are able to them. However, we also need to look at the source of their finances. Who supports them? Where do they get their money? If we are able to deal with the root cause, instead of just we are dealing with the root of the branches of that particular tree of terrorism, we might not be able to finish it. So I think I support the move, and I support again because basically it's geared to the benefit of Kenyans. And you remember we said that we have had the biggest attacks for terrorism in this particular region in terms of the Daisha attack where at least 47 students were killed. That was more in the University Daisha campus. And I remember meeting some of those students, even those who are not injured. In Moi University, I was in Moi University on campus. Up to today, some of them have never forgotten what they went through. You remember the Westgate case. You remember 1990, what happened with the bomb blast at the American embassy. So we should not give terror any particular chance. Whatever we can do in our capacity, let's finish terrorism.
Okay, and speaking of that, that aside, we cross over to Migori County. Obado vows to fight off ODM oyster plot. It's not technically Migori County, but then again, we all know that these cases and unfortunate occurrences for Obado have culminated from the level of Migori County. One would argue he's probably a man, you know, with 9 lives. He's gone through so much court battles. He's gone through so much issues, and you know, we know very well that even with the aspect of his elections, there's been a lot of credibility issues that were leveled against around that. And here he is facing a motion of impeachment in what many would look at as the right move. Others equally castigate this, saying that it is indeed political witch hunt. Some have argued that maybe his wars have started becoming tighter and tighter after he publicly, you know, pledged alliance to the deputy president, that is William Ruto. You've been following up equally on the same and looping in of his family members, all his kids probably amongst the people who have been implicated alongside him. What do you make of this? And is he really likely to be successful, or, you know, barring the ODM MCAs from, you know, fronting this impeachment motion?
I think his goose is already cooked. Obado is going to join the likes of Waititu. He might not be Minji, he might not be Anne Waiguru. First and of all, we know that Obado is not ODM. He had his own party in the year 2013. ODM had their own candidates, but just like my good friend Kalonzo Musyoka, Obado was able to start at the party. So this time round, I know he'll try, just like what the money back Waititu tried to buy MCAs, support him. But you see, also these MCAs know that there is 2012, rather 2022 is not far from today. So they'll also not like to lose their seat by siding with Obado. So for me, Obado was not ODM. He came to ODM just for the sake of it. And of course, whoever invited him in ODM knew that he might be outside ODM because of how he was better compared to the other people. He was in touch with the ground. I first listened to Obado in 2012. Obado will not speak and able to speak English. Then he was not that polished man who could speak good English sentences as today. And he has been able to establish himself. He was lying then again as another professor who was really polished pro ODM, and unfortunately a good professor didn't make it. So what also is happening today is that Ochila is surprised against Obado. Remember that. And who is currently fronting this particular bill, or who is fronting this particular campaign, is my good friend, the Senator Ochila Ayako, the former minister. So why is Ayako doing that? One, of course, he knows he also has interest to take over the next governor of that particular county. So one way, yes, it's a political witch hunt. The other way, of course, believe it's political witch hunt. There are people who are not pro the parties that are in that particular region. That doesn't mean that you always speak out because you are not sidelining or you are not in that particular political camp. I think Obado is his own enemy. He has done a lot of disgrace to this particular community. He has, remembering the history. I don't want to comment about the name of that lady called Sharon and Eva. There are many things that Obado has done that are anti or that are against the constitution in Kenya, things that are religious, things that are ethical. So I think it's a high time when people come back and go and do something different. Because we don't want, nowadays when you ask our children, what do you want to be? I want to be a governor, I want to be a senator. Who is your role model? They think you are role model. The role models are talking about the lives of Obado. So we have a constitution that basically says that is chapter on integrity on the constitution. So we should be able to follow that. The honorable thing, if I was Obado today, I'll step aside. That is basically what I'll do. Yeah, it's called what we call the morality demands that you should be able to stand step aside when you have such like this, because there are a lot of evidence. There are a lot of cases. So they don't want him to compare himself and say, when the Babu said, when Babu had an issue in the court, audience said this and that, get it. So you should not be able to compare yourself. No, I'm less a sinner than the other one. Get it. So people, he has done so many, he has done a lot of this just for the people of Mugori. So Mugori doesn't have good roads, because Obado is a ditch himself. People who Mugori doesn't have water because Obado is trying to ditch his children. So the high time, I'm not taking sides. Actually, Obado is one of those few governors I've ever met and we have ever been able to discuss this. But what I shared with you in 2014 is totally not tangible.
Yes, and with a little time left, let's take a look at what is captured on the People Daily. Most of the stories equally are like a recap of what is also on the Standard newspaper and The Nation. And Manduku raises bail after days in custody. That is a story in regards to matters corruption. And we know very well how it has been the scenario for Manduku and is captured extensively on page 13 of the same. Equally, the Murathi beef with Deputy President William Ruto captured here, expounded on page 5 of the People Daily. And still on matter terrorism, page 4 and 5, and terrorist confesses to planning new attack, which is pretty much unfortunate. And also the same story, has been captured on the cartoon edition in the Standard newspaper, and I think we've extensively captured or spoken about that. And again, on Kagwe, who spills beans on the road at KEMSA, the minister says that management is incompetent and corruption at the authority has made U.S. government to stop selling Kenya reagents for testing COVID-19. More or less the same stories that we have touched on, and yes, expanding to page 2 on the aspect of Obado. And yes, the impeachment bids runs into headwinds as MCAs equally differ on the same. So we wait to see whether indeed he is going to survive on this. Police arrest 2 remandees who escaped from station. I think we were treated to this, and it's probably a step towards the right direction. LSK drafts petition seeking to impeach President Uhuru Kenyatta. Uhuru versus the LSK. What would you say about this? Yeah.
Okay. I think the petition is based on arrival. The current political wave will not allow it. Who else is that is the question? And from my sheet, who is the dog? Oh no, whenever a dog barks, always ask yourself who is the owner. I've seen who currently heads LSK. My good friend, the learned friend, Harvey. I've seen Harvey and it working together. So, and these are the teams I've been seeing here and there, and basically what really happens, who is behind that motion, and who are the members of that society, position. They will all over the region, all over the country, but again, who are the main frontliners. So basically what happens, yes, they will have a petition who will be determining that particular petition. It's basically like a vote going to a vote that is led by the party. So it's dead on arrival. I don't see it going anywhere. But from where we should currently support the president, he has really tried as compared to his past term. He has basically tried to bring the country together, and you see when this orderliness and harmony we are able to do as a nation. And I think if we are able to support him and give him ideas, instead of fighting left, right, center, we are not able to be where we're going. Sorry to put this. The scriptures says where there's harmony, where brothers sit together in unity, God commands us. When you see, we are saying, oh, Tanzania is corona, there's no corona. Those people are united. And that's why even the wind of corona is able to just bypass, like the proverbial Passover of the Bible, where the children of Israel's houses were not affected by the angel of death. So if we are able to unite at this time and support our president, I'm sure I can give you a cast iron guarantee that we as a nation will be trapped. So what happens, we as a country, our economy was a start with economies of the likes of Taiwan, economies of South Korea, economies of those what we call the Asian tigers. So the question will always be, why do we have so many Asian tigers and few African tribes? The issue is one of it is because of political instability being caused by selfishness, where everyone who is not on power wants to be in power, who is not doing the right, who is not in the cabinet or in the government wants food so that they're able to get feedback here and there. So if we can unite as a people, unity for purpose, support the president and talk to him in a manner. You know, when you in that state, if you just work for an instance, they come and say, well, yeah. I should be able to tell you, in the end, the shoe was kind, it could have matched it with this particular color instead of doing that. So there's a way, what you're saying is not bad, how we say it. So I think this petition is wasting time, is wasting our time. We should be saying, every state should be telling us, the president has not done A, B, and C, so we suppose that they should provide A, B, C on what he's doing so that we move together. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and I am glad that you said thank you, because it's on that very note that we're going to wind up this session of Newspaper Review. Jared Oundo, lead consultant, Jubilant Stewards of Africa. Thank you so much for the great insights, as we look forward to have you some other time. Now let's cross over to a different segment all together. We have Joy Mdivo on standby, and we also have Dr. Moses on standby. So we're coming back with more on an extensive and comprehensive look of the issues that are making headlines right here in the country after this break. is a time for the state of the affairs, where we candidly take a look at the issues that are taking center stage right here. And both of these issues are the very same that we've discussed for months now, for years now, and we still continue discussing them. So begs the question as to how much are we serious in regards to addressing some of this issue. I wish there was something positive to speak about, but sadly enough, taking a look at all this that we are looking at, it is almost a scenario that paints a terrible picture of the nation. So I will get to have my specialist on the day, or of the day, and they will come in to tell us more about their take and their feel on how progressive we can be, or what we should do to ensure that we're progressive on addressing some of these issues that we're touching on. We'll be taking a look at the KEMSA wars that revolves around the aspect of graft, something that we've discussed for the better part of last week and this week. Equally, the Obado wars continue, and of course the Deputy President William Ruto's wars continue. And we also take a look at that move by LSK. It's a bold move to say that they wanted to talk about hosting President Uhuru Kenyatta. Just how successful would they be on the same? And lastly, the stalemate that has been ongoing at the level of the Senate in regards to addressing the matters of revenue share, monies that are supposed to be channeled towards different counties for the sake of development and running of activities. Joining me this morning, Advocate Joy Mdivor. It's been a minute, Joy. How have you been?
I'm well and thankful. How are you?
I'm good also. Good to have you.
It's good to be here.
And today we have a new face. We have Dr. Moses Mwangi, who's a pharmacist and a past chair at CAPI. Good morning, Doc.
Good morning to you. Nice to see you this morning and to have the opportunity to join this great team of TV47.
And good to have you, Dr. We're looking forward to candid discussion